Good afternoon, painters and decorators of the interweb. I'm coming back with another wallpapering. Let's talk about wallpapering again. We're talking about balancing wallpapers and setting out in a room. Now, over my shoulder, you can see a very pale lemony paper. I want to tell you how I'll work this one out, and I'm going to zoom back because there's not much room in this room. There's a bed in it. Right, this is a paper. Let's try and get a bit closer. I don't know whether you can actually see. You can see me. This is a paper with a pattern that's quite faint but white. Now, it's quite defined. You see the hedgehog. How I work this paper out is I looked at the paper. It's quite a busy paper, so I'm not trying to balance it between ceiling and floor. But what I am trying to do is balance it for how the bed is. Now, the bed will go on this wall, so I've treated this room, even though I'm doing all of this room, I've treated this wall like a feature wall. Now that means I've found the middle and I've worked out the paper to hang from the centre to the edges one side, and that allows me to get a pattern centralised on the wall but also balanced with how the bed is. The rest of the walls I'm not worried about. It's where the bed will go. And on this wall is a feature wall. It's not a feature wall, but I'm treating it as a feature wall. Now when it comes to the top, I found a nice part of the paper. I'll try and show you on this one. It's probably a bit too pale. There's a rabbit there, and then also you can probably see a hedgehog. Now what I've done, I've got, because the rabbit's ears aren't far away from a hedgehog, I didn't want to cut half a hedgehog going under the coving, so what I've done, I've got enough tolerance between the rabbit's ears. I don't know whether you can see. Between, there you go, the rabbit's ears, there's probably about an inch, and I've allowed an inch above the rabbit's ears to the bottom of the coving, and hopefully keeping the laser flowing that pattern round, I'll be fine with the rabbit's ears, keeping away from the coving. The trouble is, if that coving runs out, it could start coming into that rabbit's ears or going away from the rabbit's ears and bringing in the little bottom part of the hedgehog, and I don't want to do that. But if that happens, you can't do much about it. But on this paper, unfortunately, the sun's blinding. It's such a sunny wallpaper and sunny room, you can't really see it. But I've kept a rabbit underneath the coving. Sorry about that, I just got cut off by turning the camera off. So what I've done, I've actually got the predominant picture of the rabbit there, you can just see it going all the way just by an inch underneath that coving edge. Now, as long as the coving doesn't run out, that should stay all the way around the room with me, and particularly with using a laser liner, I can keep an eye on how the pattern flows into a corner and then back out. And I've told you about, if you follow a link up there, how to do internal angles. Particularly this one ran out by about a fraction, nearly half an inch at the bottom, which you have to trim back off. But that edge there is plumb. If you want to know about laser lining, yeah, there's links there, using your laser liner for getting your paper. Now when it comes into that corner there, I can re-hang a piece, and it'll be only a 150-200 mil strip. I'll use the laser liner to get the plumb top to bottom, but on the horizontal to keep a pattern flowing around. And whether I take in the rabbit's top of the ears or a part of that pattern there to flow all the way around, that's what I'll use. So on this one, this isn't probably as long as the last video about pattern placement, but just think about your paper. Don't just go and take it what it comes off the roll and bang it all the way up. You don't want to do that. Just look at your paper, get it on your pasteboard and work it all out to say what's going to look best for the room. If there's a pattern that you can predominantly see and it's very noticeable, does that need to be just under the coving or the ceiling and let somebody see that all the way around? Whatever it is at the bottom, you can't do much about, because depending on your height of your floor to your ceiling, you can't regulate that. That's fixed for you. But if you've got a busy pattern, don't worry about trying to balance top to bottom. If it's like the last video I did on balancing wallpaper. Is there a link there? We can do that. That was those lions, tigers, whatever we were calling it, jaguars I was told, leopards. They were quite predominant on the paper, and to have that in a position that you noticed it as soon as you walked into the room, that's not good to have it if you haven't balanced it. And that's why I didn't put that big predominant cat, tiger, lion, whatever it is, at the top, because as it came down on the, what was it, about a metre, yeah, it was about a metre repeat. I didn't want to go lion, tiger, whatever, then a metre, and then there was nothing there at the bottom. So that's why I balanced it to be halfway between, and I did 2 cats just above the halfway. Oh, watch the video on that. I think I explained it. If you don't know, just comments, likes, just the usual, ask the questions. But this is it. I've got to run on jobs papering at the moment, so I thought I'd just tell you how I'm doing it. Thanks for listening, thanks for subscribing, thanks for pressing that bell. Not got that Porsche yet, I'm not worried about that. Maybe at the end of the year I might get a toy die-cast Porsche just to give me a goal, you know, a goal. Yeah, just work towards it. We'll see. But no, any questions on this, just balance your paper. And just to recap, I found halfway on this wall, treated it like a feature wall, and hung from the middle, left to right. You know what I mean? I hung one on the left hand side of the middle laser plumb, worked my way into that corner, and then the same there. And doing it that way means I've got a pattern that's in the middle of the wall. Now if the bed goes up against it, at least it's going to be centralised. Does it make sense? Thanks. Yeah. Right, quick one. Oh, have I been 5-10 minutes? Brilliant. Keep them short and sweet.